Criticism. Holland's definition of jurisprudence has been criticized by various jurists on the following points. Number 1. Formal science. According to Gray, jurisprudence is in truth no more a formal science than psychology. As bones, muscles and nerves are the subject matter of physiology. As bones, muscles and nerves are the subject matter of physiology, so the acts and forbearances of men and the events which happen to them are the subject matter of jurisprudence, and physiology could as well dispense with the former as jurisprudence with the latter. Again, the real relation of jurisprudence to law depends upon not what law is treated, but how law is treated. A treatise on jurisprudence may go into the minutest particulars and be confined to the most general doctrines, and in either case deserves its name. What is essential to it is that it should be an orderly scientific treatise in which the subjects are duly classified and subordinated. Second point, science. Dr. Zhang says, can jurisprudence be truly said to be a purely formal science? Not. It is submitted unless the word formal be used in a strained and artificial sense. It is true that a jurist can only recognize a law by its form, for it is the form which, as has been said, causes the manifold matter of the phenomena to be perceived. But the jurist, having got the form as it were on the operating table, has to dissect it and ascertain its meaning. Jurisprudence is concerned with means rather than with ends, though some of its means are ends in themselves. But to say that jurisprudence is concerned only with forms is to degrade it from the rank of a science to that of a craft, from the rank of a science to that of a craft. Professor Platt criticizes that material aspect of law is not completely superfluous. He says, without restoring to acts and forbearances and to the state of facts under which they are commanded, law cannot be differentiated at all. Not so much as the bare framework of its chief departments can be erected. An attempt to construct, quite apart from all the matter of law, even the most general conception of ownership or contract would be like trying to make bricks not merely without straw but without clay as well. As a matter of fact, it is true that subject matter of the law is certainly relevant and may be important in the first stage, but it does not form the all ends of jurisprudence. Without its formal and analytical aspect, jurisprudence will be reduced to a number of facts heaped together. Thus, the truth lies not in denying one or the other, but in giving both the matter and the form their due place.